This is the Sourceseeker Hour Spotlight. We thank everybody for joining us. This is our 109th episode, and we have a very, very special guest, my friend, entrepreneur, socialite, innovator, activist, creative individual, Miss Mattie Whitfield. First, did I get any of that wrong or in the wrong context?
Absolutely not. Don't forget mom. That's my first job.
Yes, ma'am. Mom. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Beautiful and powerful. Well, welcome to the spotlight. Thank you very much. Please introduce yourself and whatever you would like to say as an introduction and what you do, whatever you would like to share with our audience in the beginning here.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to join us here on the Sourceseeker Hour. Congratulations on your 109th episode. That is definitely an accomplishment.
129th.
Oh, 129th episode. Let's get that correct. That is definitely an accomplishment. So salute to you, Mr. Ruti Alexander, for that. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to come here and talk with people just in common conversation about the economy, what we can do, and where we see each other going. My name is Mattie Zarina Whitfield. You can definitely address me as Zarina. I am a Chicago native. I live here in Houston. And as he said, I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for about the last 15 years. Was the last time I think I punched a clock. And it's been a beautiful journey, but it's also been a journey. As I like to tell people, entrepreneurship isn't definitely for everyone, but those of us that make it happen, it's definitely possible, in which I want to talk about today more so. And I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you very much. I would like to get right into it. You mentioned that you're from Chicago, live in Houston. Have you lived anywhere else?
I've lived in Nashville. I went to school at Fisk University, and that was my first introduction to the South.
Yes, ma'am. One of the reasons I asked that, I've been to many places, and sometimes there's a different kind of culture, a different kind of vibe in different cities and so forth. For instance, New York has a slightly different vibe. Some would say not slightly than Houston does. I've only lived in Houston, but I've been to many places, been to Vegas. Can you kind of tell what you have seen about the vibe and how does it affect business per se, or how you relate to people?
So yes, I wouldn't say that New York has a slight difference from Houston. It's just a difference. It's not the same at all. The North and the South is definitely different. People's personalities, people's expectations are different. In the North, you have a lot of people who are definitely for self. So being a business owner, they got a lot more tenacity, a lot more ambition. They're going after it a little bit more. Here in the South, it does move a little slower. People are a little more calmer, a little more relaxed. So business is good, and it's not as much grind. Like Houston is picking up more on the grind, but there's more. I'm not gonna say there's more money here in Houston. It's just different money here in Houston. You have a lot of people who have that entrepreneur mindset. You have a lot more people, especially as it's growing today. Our generations that are coming up, they're not looking to do the traditional jobs. They're not looking to do that traditional path that we were taught and those before me were taught in the past. They're more ambitious. They're more creative with their finances. And that does make a difference depending upon your city, just on your mindset alone, the positivity, the negativity, the things that you see around you. In Chicago, one of the main reasons I moved was the mindset and the negativity. It was extremely negative and very stressful on an everyday basis. Like the pressure that you would have leaving your home and having to watch your back versus leaving a home in Houston, or I live in the suburbs, as I lived in the suburbs in Chicago. It's just different. It's a different way of life. You get to stress less, as my boo would say, like, yes.
I want to just add in, when gas is close to $4 and at one time close to $5, it makes it a little stressful everywhere.
Oh, well, if it's $4 or $5 here, it's $7, $8 there.
Woo,
Yeah.
woo. That is,
Mhm.
yes, I can see the stress level right there. Because
Absolutely.
that passes around. When
Mhm.
gas is high, it makes everything a little bit higher and more stressful.
Well, one
Um,
of the things I can say with that is that means they need to make a little more money.
yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am. We're gonna talk about that. I want to ask this. Are there advantages to Blackness? Are there advantages to being a female in business? And are there disadvantages to Blackness? Are there disadvantages to being a female in business?
Okay. So my first disclaimer with that is truly dependent upon your mindset. So one of the things we didn't say that we do, or that I do, that I don't really forecast a lot. I'm actually a spiritual teacher. So I teach a lot on mindset. I teach a lot on manifestation. I believe in the power of belief. I believe in the things that we speak out of our mouths have power. They create. So my spiritual would say, if you believe that there is a disadvantage in being Black or a disadvantage in being female, then you're going to attract and encounter disadvantages for being Black and disadvantages for being female, because that's just what you believe. So therefore, it has to come to you, because whatever you believe is correct for you. So I will say, previously in the beginning of my entrepreneur career, I did run into disadvantages of being a female. A lot of the females like to think, oh, well, I can't do business with males because they can't think past personal business. And being a female who is attractive, I've had a lot of women tell me that they run into more hurdles. And a lot of people like to think, oh, well, you're cute, so business is easy for you. Well, not necessarily, because the hurdles are just different. The other female may have the hurdle of, she feels that people are looking at her one way, but the other, she has the hurdles of every CEO or potential business partner. She has to finesse around them. She has to bring other people to meetings with her. She has to use someone to forecast for her so that she doesn't have to deal with the male ego of being turned down. Those are possible disadvantages if you believe that route. I truly believe that it is an advantage to do business and be Black, because we have a lot more Black people doing business today. And we have a lot more Black people looking to do business with other Black people. The awareness and the education, because of the internet, because of our opportunity and access to information, allows us to be able to do business on larger levels with each other. Now, one of the things that does come into play, we are a little hard on our own people. So you'll have something that'll go bad customer service wise, and they'll be quick to say, oh, that's because they're a Black business. But you can have another business that the same thing occurs and they'll just pass it off and it won't be a big deal. That is something that we need to do better as a culture. We need to support. When I go into a business and it's Black owned and there's something wrong, I like to tell them about it versus going and writing a bad report or things of that nature. They may not know, or it's an opportunity for growth. And if we don't allow each other to grow, then how do we help each other? Business as a female, I love being a female doing business. We have a lot of collabs where females are doing business with each other. Myself personally, I have an organization called Global Women of Wealth, where we as women business owners, we work together collectively. We're all mothers. We all deal with the same thing. We all desire around the same thing. So to collab versus compete is a blessing. And I think that a lot more people are moving into that space, the space of collaboration, the space of more than enough, the space of we can all do this together and shine and be great without having to compete with each other.
Sounds great. You mentioned Global Women of Wealth, your organization. Please describe that a little bit more, as well as your actual businesses that you're engaged in.
Sure. So Global Women of Wealth is the business sector of Captivate University. So Captivate University will actually be launching on in July. I'm rebranding. And what it is it's a spiritual platform for us to learn how to live in our full authenticity. And the mission of Captivate University is to empower the lives of 31 million people to choose self-love and freedom in their authenticity. And we'll be doing that with our health, we'll be doing that with our wealth and our spirituality. So what that looks like is, we're all getting older, we're all growing, and our health is a big deal. Your health is your wealth. So the working out, and not just to look a certain way, but to live, to be able to be a grandma, to be a grandpa, and do it correctly. And there's also this big, I'm gonna call it an epidemic of surgery and not being enough. And I want to really touch on the spirit of the woman to let her know that you are enough. Like, you don't have to go out and become whatever people think is beautiful. Like, I'm not sure who defined what this look is supposed to be, but we were all created uniquely different. So why does everybody want to look the same? And I think that that conversation needs to be had more. So that will be a part of our authenticity and the spirituality and just embracing who you are. Like, whatever your religion is, if you don't have a religion, if you're not religious, but you believe in spirituality, you believe in God, you know that there's something higher and you want to learn the God in you more, that's where we come in. And then our wealth sector, I'm actually a part of a beautiful company that actually just launched. It is a network marketing company. I believe in network marketing 1000%. It's called Envision You. You can actually see it behind me. Let me see.
Yes. May I interject? Did
Yes.
you invite Antoine? Can I let him in?
Oh yeah, he was coming. Oh, you know what? Not that was my speaker link, right?
He wanted to. He just dropped off.
I invited him to here. I didn't know that was the speaker link because they don't have Facebook.
Okay.
One moment.
Yes, ma'am. And while you're doing that, I just wanted to review what I heard about Global Women of Wealth. That is a part of Captivate University. Is it a actual university, or are we going to start it as an actual university? And they talk about, or your mission is self-love and authenticity, health and wealth, spirituality. I got it about right?
You got it right.
Okay.
And to impact the lives of 31 million people.
Yes, ma'am. 31 million. I'm going to write that down too.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old daughters. And yes. So all that I'm hearing, and that's going to be one of my main topics or main questions for you is, how can I get my 19-year-old, my 21-year-old daughter prepared for success? I'm going to say a little joke here. And one of my daughters, I was having a little difficult time. She gave me $75 worth of food stamps to make sure daddy ate. The other one, I may have to hide my credit card from, but just.
Let me just ask, the one that gave you money, is that the first daughter?
No, that's actually my 19-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Who is independent. She's in her freshman year, has her own apartment, her own car. Yes, she's had some difficult little moments, but she's hanging in there doing everything. So I want to get, some understanding and feedback as a single father also. But we can come back to that. I'd like to hear your businesses that you're also engaged in. Yes, Global Women of Wealth, but how do you pay your bills?
So I pay my bills with Envision You. So Envision You, and then Vision You. So our mission is, we envision you healthy and we envision you wealthy.
Okay.
So Envision You was actually started by two entrepreneurs, Mr. David Emonitier and Mr. Ivan Tapia. Those are our founders. We call them our visionary founders. I love our company simply because the vision of our company is to impact the lives of 1 billion people, to help them change their lives spiritually, their health, and their wealth. These two gentlemen have put together the company. Collectively, they've made over $100 million in the industry of network marketing together. So it's not something that's new to them. They've been doing this industry for over 15 years, but they just decided to step out. And well, they had the vision. God gave them the vision to step out and create another platform for the average person who has an entrepreneur spirit to be able to win. So we do health products. And we have almost like a wealth academy, which is like a digital academy where we're teaching Airbnb, Turo, some other factors, the internet, like the chat, Web3, chat GBT, AI, where we see all of that going. And they teach you how to manage your money. A lot of the times, like I see a school in your background, they don't teach money in school. So as much money as people are making, they really have no idea how to manage it unless you went off on your own and learned. So we have a mission for the community to teach them. Not only are we going to help you make more money, but we're going to also teach you how to keep it, how to grow it, and make it bigger for that part. So we're in Houston, of course. We're in about 10 other countries. And we launched officially on January 13th. So we've done about 15 million since then. So we're growing fast. That is my passion. And then we also have a trading platform. So I'm a day trader too, and that pays the bills.
Okay, let me review this. Envision health
Envision
products.
you.
Envision you, excuse me.
Yes.
Envision you, health products, and you said trading.
A wealth academy.
Wealth Academy.
So in our wealth academy,
say
we
that
have
again.
In our wealth academy,
Okay.
we have
yes,
classes on Airbnb, Turo, Web3, and financial literacy.
Okay. Well, that is powerful. And you started again and when?
The company officially launched in January. We did a soft launch in October, but our official launch was in Vegas. We actually have a leadership conference coming up in May. It is definitely going to be one of the biggest and best. It's Memorial Day weekend, I want to say. And we'll be in Orlando for the conference. There's going to be different leaders. John C. Maxwell is one of our trainers for our program, because we believe in the mindset and how to, what would it be? How to get your mind together for your money. Like a lot of people like to say, oh, making money is so hard, but it's really not. Like it's as hard as you think it is. It's as hard as you believe it is. Once you change your mindset, you'll find that things just start to flow with you with opportunities. And it's what you do with that opportunity that allows you to be able to make more or earn more money.
Sounds great. I see. I think my 19-year-old, she would be perfect for this. She's a great salesman. She's able to, she sells water, you know, the water company. She worked with them. She was a hostess. She's very good at all of that, public speaking and different things like that. And she's a go-getter.
I love
Not
it.
that my other one is not, but they just different. We'll just say that. But very interesting about Envision You and what you do and so forth. Let me ask this. The critique on ladies in business, and I'm sure you've heard this before, is they're too emotional.
Absolutely, I've heard that before.
And that if something happens, you know, it affects them differently. What men can compartmentalize, okay, this happened over here, but I'm about my business. And then with the ladies, the critique is if something happens, it affects everything. What do you say to that criticism?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. So men can have a drop out argument in a boardroom and then go out for drinks later like nothing happened. Women have an argument in their boardroom, and when you leave out that boardroom, she don't like her and she don't like this person and she mad and she holds on to it. And a part of that is, I mean, naturally we are emotional creatures. Women were made to be emotional. It is a part of our makeup. So one of the things that we have to learn in business is you do have to learn to become more logical, but also how to use your emotions, how to use your emotions to manifest, to attract what you want to attract. And then when you do have those moments that come up in business, when you learn how to properly communicate, then you're able to properly communicate what you want to say so that it doesn't even go to the point where you have to be so emotional. Like there's a lack of communication missing there, being able to effectively express yourself.
I understand that, but I would go back to men were created one way and women were created another way for a reason.
Absolutely.
And, you know, men without that particular perspective and way that they come at a situation are not as effective without a lady without a lady's perspective. Now, I'm certain we may be getting some arguments on our Facebook Live, which I'm going to go look at, but it has always been said, behind every successful man, you can find a powerful woman.
Yeah,
and
it needs to be
there's a
changed to
truth to
say,
that.
it
Say
needs to
again?
be said on the side of every successful man.
Oh, I said behind, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It should be on the side.
Yes.
And that's absolutely true. But in the same breath, in the world that we live in today, a woman just cannot be on the side of her man. She may starve because
Explain that.
You have men who just are not the tradition of doing things together and realizing your roles, or the way that they tried to say our roles, it doesn't exist anymore.
But that successful man that you're talking about, who recognizes the value of that lady, he recognizes, and now they may have an agreement that he's out front, but he gives her the props, he gives her the front of the house, or whatever situation is. They may play those roles, or he may be in the back and let her do that. Now, can she handle that he is supporting her like that? You see what I'm saying? So,
absolutely. I think
to have
it's
a successful partnership, you do have to communicate and understand the value of the other person and respect that value.
Yes, I agree. I think as a successful partner, you have to communicate and not only understand the value of the other person, but outline it. Because you do have some men who just don't desire to be upfront. They may be comfortable with her being in her masculinity energy, because it's not just necessarily a male or female thing, it's an energy thing. Men have more masculine energy, and that masculine energy allows them to be more logical. So as a woman, when she taps into her masculine energy, that allows her to get things done, that allows her to work. But she also needs to know how to turn that off in certain settings. So let's say she's the one up front, she's the one going out, she's the business owner, and he's behind. He's done it already. So now he's letting her run and go do her thing. That's great. Go out there, be the woman in the world, get things done. Now, also realizing you don't necessarily have to just be in your masculine energy. There's power in your feminine energy also, when you know how to tap into it. But in the same breath, when you go home, you take that masculine cap off, you put your feminine cap on, and you be the woman, you be the wife, you be the loving, you be the nourisher. But you need to know every different place has a different energy that they're going to need from you.
I just want to say this. First of all, I try to teach my daughters about their power. You know, you can have a group of boys who are cussing and hollering, but if a woman comes in that room in a certain way, in a certain vibe,
they will
all be quiet.
Yep.
And that's a certain power. And tap in, quit trying to curse with the boys.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes.
You know that you're giving away your power when you do that. So
yes.
I'm trying to share that with them and so forth. But as you said, you might be partners, but in some situations, he is the leader. In some situations, you are the leader. Like when I go on a trip with my, I just went on a trip to Vegas with my daughter and my ex-wife. Hey, I let them tell us where to go. We go here. I'm not trying to tell us everywhere to go and so forth. I'm here to help facilitate if we need it, but I don't have to be the one talking, leading, doing all of that. I just walk
That's
with
being
you.
comfortable in your masculine energy and allowing her to do it. One of the best things that I ever heard of an example of masculine and feminine energy, the man would say, honey, you know what? I'm thinking about going to dinner here. How do you feel? Now, the key word was, he said, I think, logical. And then he asked her, how do you feel about it? And then she's supposed to answer from her feelings, from her emotions. Honey, you know what? I think I'm feeling seafood today. What do you think? When you respond from there versus, no, I don't want to go there, I want to go here. It's a way to get everything done. And I think that is one of the challenges that they're taking away from our younger generation and making women think that you just have to be so masculine and so, you a dude. You are not. I don't care what you do. You are not a man. You
Let
are
me
one.
say that. Let me say this. I have to say that the roles that we have been inundated in come from years of media, come from years of pressure put upon us to act in a certain way, and it
Yep.
was not all of our own doing.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
forth. So we do have to recognize that. But it's so strong, our competition with each other in so many ways that
Mhm.
the woman in many cases, everybody wants their way. Everybody wants their way. And if we can't have our way, we'll say, okay, we don't want no help. We don't want nobody in our life. If we can't have our way, we just not gonna participate at all.
Yes.
And that's a
Childish.
damaging to the Black family in many ways and to
It's
our
childish.
uplift and to our growth.
It's
So
childish.
yeah, but
Adults,
that's where
when
we
you
are,
learn-
and a lot of that comes from the media and what we have
Absolutely.
been embedded in our life and in our families from the media and so many different sources, even school. Go ahead.
I'll just say this, my opinion on the media and the programming, it's all massive programming. It's all massive programming to tear down the structure of the family. And it's been happening for a while, and it's been very successful. It's making the man against the woman, the children against the parents. And like you said, when you can't get your way, everybody ready to hit the door. Social media has people out here thinking that they got plenty options, that I don't need you. I can go and do this. But the thing that's missing is not just social media, but the media, they're only giving you a glimpse. They're not giving you the whole story. They're not giving you the 80%. They're giving you the 20. So the 20% that you're chasing after is probably the same as the 80% that you're running from. People don't understand that in relationships and in the different things that we're going to encounter, they're meant to help us grow, not for you to run away from it. Because it's just like school. If you're supposed to pass this test on your journey to growth, you're going to take this test in that classroom or the next classroom, but you're going to have to take the test. And until you pass it, you're going to keep getting that. That's why people always, I keep bumping into the same person. Well, that's because you haven't learned your lesson yet, honey. You keep running from your growth. Gentlemen, you keep running from your growth. So the girls, the women that you keep encountering, she's the same type because you didn't learn from the last one. You just thought that you could go to the next and it would be okay. No, there is a purpose in that contrast. There is a purpose in that challenge for you to learn something new so that when you do meet your next, you've already passed that test. It's just like school. We're going to take that test over and over again and that grade over and over again. So they either throw you out or you pass. And that's what people don't understand. They're like, oh, well, I saw a post today that said women are electing to be single because they don't want to deal with the trauma of a man that his mom gave him. What? Nobody elects to be single. Like, Nobody really desires. We were made and created to be with a partner. So no, they're electing to be single because nobody wants to take the time to heal or the time to deal with each other lovingly. There's a way that you can love people through what they're going through. And just like when they say in success, when you're digging that bridge and when looking for that gold and you stop right before gold, and that next woman comes in and she hits it, and now he's just this amazing man. No, he would have been that amazing man for you if you would have just waited and you would have patiently. She would have been that woman for you if you would have stuck through and grew. Or maybe they weren't supposed to, but you still have to learn the lesson in it. The media is tearing us down, making the woman think that she's supposed to be the man and she don't need a man. And the man think that, oh, all, and I'm gonna just talk our race. Oh, all Black women are mean and all Black women are, they too independent and they don't wanna, I'm going to get me a other. No, all Black women are not like that. Some Black women, they don't mind submitting. But when you ask a woman to submit, what are they submitting to? Who are you submitted to? Like, are they just submitting to you while you submit to your boys? Do you have a vision? Do you have a goal? What are you going after? Who's giving you your wisdom? Because if you're just submitting to your boys and you want her to submit to you, it's not going to work like that. You have to have a higher power that you're submitting to, a vision that you're submitting to. What, like the way of our economy right now, it's changing. The AI, the technology, all of that good stuff, it's changing. So you have to be prepared. There now, the leadership in the home needs to be directing people towards the new, not being scared of it, but there are opportunities out there that allow you to be able to learn. Like one of the things for my business, Envision You, we are a network marketing company. And I was inspired to do all the objections that we normally hear from our culture. From our culture, it is such disbelief because we only know the stories about people who have failed. We don't know the stories of the people who have been successful. And if we do, it's a, oh, well, that was good for them. Oh, that just worked for them. But the reality is the industry of direct sales and network marketing, and mind you, it's not all sales, it's really sharing. Is more sharing than sales. But that industry did over $300 billion. It makes more money than the NBA, the entertainment industry, all the sports, all the things that our people chase. It makes more money than all of them globally. But we're not taught that. And that's because that will be an opportunity for people to elevate themselves without having to have $100,000 in the bank, without having to have the credit hurdles or the $50,000. You're able to take a little bit of something and turn it into a completely different lifestyle. I started in network marketing maybe about, I know, a long time ago. A long time ago, over 10 years ago. And just the opportunities that I've seen and the flexibility and the freedom that it gave me to be able to raise my children. Like I have been present to every game, every event. I haven't had a job tell me that I can't go just simply because I was willing to take a risk. Those things are priceless. We can't get those things back. So I really want to go into the space, or I'm going to go into the space where I really help people get a better understanding of what's really going on with our industry and how they can profit from it.
I want to ask this. I asked it in the beginning. I want to ask it again. Those young girls, how would you tell them to prepare themselves?
Ooh, a young girl. Well, that's where Captivate University is going to come in, because I have some young sisters around the same age as your daughters, and I see the things that they are being inundated with, the things that they are seeing on a regular basis, from the attire, the clothing, to the way that they talk, their expectations, their character, their morals. One of the things that I would tell a younger lady is to start the search for self. Start the search and find out what's important to her. What does she really like or desire to know outside of what media tells her she's supposed to? because there's a reason that media is trying to dumb down our generation, because they understand the power that they really hold. So one of the things that I'm going to do first with them is help them change, evolve, and optimize their mindset to think bigger, to think different. There's an entire world out here, outside of their city, outside of their block, and just getting them to possibly think bigger. I actually, I had someone ask me what was my number, like financially, what's your number? And when I told them, it kind of like blew them away, because they was like, I have no one around me that thinks that big. And the reason being is because they haven't been exposed to see what's possible. Because if God did it for one, he could do it for another. So why not believe that it can be done for you? But that all comes from mindset. So the first thing that a younger female, needs to do is work on her mindset, and work on, despite what she sees out here, there is better. She is unique. She's a leader. So building that.
Let me ask this. You come at this mindset, this positive mindset. It seems so easy and flowing. Have you always had that? And if you didn't, how did you flip the script? How did you change?
It is not easy.
From confused or a negative to this positive mindset? I think a lot of girls deal with doubt, deal with I can't do this. They start with that negative because they don't have the role models. They're not around enough situations. So kind of talk about where you were able to get this mindset from.
Okay, so let's first of all, my disclaimer is it is not easy. It is a walk and a journey every single day. Even as long as I've been doing it. So I was actually introduced to a movie that I would recommend for everybody, called The Secret. So that was one of the first movies that truly changed my life. It's The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. My broker at my real estate office set us all down in a classroom style and told us we were all going to watch this movie. And as I'm watching, I took like 3 to 4 pages of notes, because it was just so different. Like, I've always been an optimistic person, but I've had a lot of things occur in my life to try to make me go the other way. And I just always believed there was difference. So when I saw this movie, The Secret, and he was talking about the law of attraction and how we attract everything that we think, I personally, this was back in the day where we used to make DVDs and copy them, bootleg them. I literally went and made 100 copies of that movie. And I can't get in trouble now, but I made 100 copies of that movie and sent it to all of my friends, because I was like, everyone needs to see this. But that was my first stepping stone. And then from there, I was attracted to different speakers in the movie, and I just started following them. So one of them was Lisa Nichols. She's another African-American woman who's a speaker on the main stage. And another was Bob Proctor. Rest in peace. He's passed away. But those two were some of the two leaders that I really just started following and studying. And I just had this thirst for knowledge, because I always knew I wanted more. And if they told me that mindset was the way to get it, then hey, let me find out what this mindset is about. And throughout all of those years, I've done the church, I've done the religious, I've done the I've done the deep in church. I've done the spirituality. I've had every facet. I've even studied Taoism. I've even read on the Buddha and all of those good things, just to see where I fit in. And that's what I say, find the journey of self. You may not be what your grandmama, you may not believe what your grandmama said. You may not believe what this other person believes, but you have to find out what works for you. And what worked for me was spirituality. I believe in God, but I also believe in the foundation of love. So with that, have I had challenging times? Absolutely. Do I still have them? Absolutely. But I understand that when I have them, I don't wallow in them. I like to tell myself, you can get a few minutes to cry. You can get a few minutes to have a moment, but what we're not going to do is stay here. We're going to take it. Go ahead.
I want to ask this. For me, a big kind of new understanding, of course, is being a father. Did you find that being a mother and the journey of being a mother helped you to see different things in different ways?
Absolutely. Because I'm responsible for a whole nother human being. So that came along with it. I always wanted to have, beautiful children. And I wanted my son to be a beautiful human being. My daughter too, but really my son. I wanted to raise my son to be a leader and be a beautiful human being. And one of the things that I didn't want was crazy teenagers. So my way of keeping crazy teenagers away from me was there's a program called Landmark Worldwide. They're a global personal development program, and they have it not just for adults, but for teens also. So when my son was 13, I sent him there. And the goal was to teach him how to communicate his emotions, how to communicate how he's feeling, because that's a problem for a lot of men. They just don't know how to communicate effectively and to do it in their masculine energy, because they are taught as kids, boys don't cry and do this like a man and all of that good stuff. Well, boys do cry because they're human beings. The only reason they're not crying is because you tell them not to, which allows them to become emotionally unavailable men. So then when you become an adult and you have an emotionally unavailable man, well, yeah, that's how he was raised. And that's probably how you're raising your son too. So I didn't want to make that same mistake. I wanted my son to be able to communicate. I wanted him to be able to voice what he had going on. And mind you, he went at 13. I think he went back at 15. And we have the best relationship. My son has never been in trouble. We haven't had any problems. He got like a 6.0 GPA. He's a senior. He's a leader. He goes to other leadership conferences. He helps. He's going to be speaking on somebody's stage really soon. And I truly accredit that to him learning how to communicate as a kid. Like adults commend him on, I understand you. Like he can get a full understanding. He's had conversations with 60-year-olds and they tell him, wow, I usually cannot sit down and talk to someone your age. But I just took it upon myself to make sure that I did something different. So my personal growth and my personal development was not just for me. I have a family. So I have to do the same for my family. My daughter is a future entrepreneur. Right now, I took her to a meeting with me the other day, and she's in the meeting taking notes as if she was an adult. Somebody asked her, like, what did you get from the meeting? And she said, I got profits are better than wages. She's 11.
Yes.
So it's all in the environment that we put our kids in. But in the same breath, we have to put ourselves in that environment in the beginning. We have to start it. And it's not something people like to think like, oh, well, now my life is just going to be easy. It's not. It's going to be worth it. And with that, the contrast, the things that happen, I look at challenges different. I look at them, I got you. I look at them as contrast. So contrast lets you know what you like and what you don't like. So things aren't necessarily happening to me, they're happening for me. Because I'm either going to like this or I'm not going to like this, and I'm going to make a better decision.
I wanted to interject. You just said something. You said, life is not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it.
Yes.
Explain that.
So everybody looks for life to be easy, for nothing to happen to you, and everything is just perfect. And I never go through anything. Well, I don't look for my life to necessarily be easy. I like for my life to be worth it. So any challenges, which I call contrast, any contrast that I have, I don't want to take the same test twice. So that contrast is helping develop me into the woman that I need to be. So if I never have anything happen to me, if I never have anything that I need to grow from, because I don't believe that you go through things, I believe you grow through them if you do it right. So everything that I grow from helps me become a better woman. And then I can teach the next person. But if I've never been through anything, then how can I help the next person? So easy isn't always the best thing. Worth it. You want your life to be worth it. So whatever you feel that your purpose is, I said that I want to impact the lives of 31 million people. That's not easy. There's nothing easy about that. I have to grow through different things so that I can be able to relate to people. If everything is easy and someone else had a hard life, I can't relate to them. I'm gonna be like, I don't understand why you got to go through that, because I had to grow through it.
I want to see if this definition fits with what you are saying as far as worth it. You go through things to grow and expand.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. We have been listening to my friend, entrepreneur, innovator, spiritual teacher, Miss Mattie Whitfield, on our 129th episode of the Sourceseeker Hour. It's a powerful and beautiful thing to be able to share and hear all this valuable information. Listen at what we have heard. We've heard about Captivate University, which has self-love, authenticity, health, and wealth, spirituality, which is reaching out to at least 31 million people. That's the Black community, isn't it? 31 million, is that what we're talking about?
That's global.
That's global, okay. And that is a part of it, Envision You.
Now that's not a part of Envision You. So the 31 million people is my purpose. Okay. Envision You is 1 billion.
Okay. All right. I'm clarified on that. And it's a powerful thing. You've done some other things in the past. You mentioned a lot of different activities that you were a part of. This is a main part of your mission at this time, though.
Yes, that is where I've grown to. So a lot of the other projects that I did, they were on my growth journey. And the 31 million people actually was given to me like 10 years ago, where I just was being like, I like to say that you're going to hear purpose. You're going to hear where you're supposed to be when you're doing what you're supposed to do. So Spirit just gave me 31 million people. And I didn't know what it meant back then, because it was like, how in the world am I going to impact the lives of 31 million people? That is a lot of people. And as I grew spiritually, I learned that the how is not my business. I just have to be in position.
I want to go to this subject. This is the subject of our next two panel discussions: different relationships, different lifestyles. And among that 31 million people, you got a lot of different personalities, different lifestyles, different relationships, different ways of looking at the world and living. How will you look at that as far as business? Will it impact business? Let me give you this example. In the media today, you might see two men kissing, and you didn't see that 20 years ago. The world is changing. And they have a lot of states have legislation banning trans lifestyles in their state. Does that impact your business, or do you just say everybody can appreciate what we're doing?
I say everybody can appreciate what we're doing. So I believe that the people that I am divinely supposed to impact will be attracted to me.
Understood. And it is a brand new world, much different than it was even 20 years ago. There are so many different things happening. Politics is changing. So many different things everywhere are, especially in the media. Look at what just happened to Jonathan Majors and how he has been impacted. We don't know the details of that, at least I don't, but just how he has been ran down so quickly. What happened to Bill Cosby? So quickly, things change. So you have to be careful out there in how you present things and so forth. Do you think about that? Is that a part of, the climate and how things, the council culture I'm talking about, I guess?
Do I think about that in regards to me, or what do I think about as a whole?
In business as a whole.
So my purpose is from God. They can't cancel me.
So it doesn't really come up that, you have to worry about your word and the way you shape your words and all of those things, especially dealing with the media. For instance, what you may put on Facebook in a post, somebody might have an issue with that. Are you very careful about that? Do you think about those things?
I used to be. I used to think about it a lot. It actually had me at a point where I wasn't posting and I wasn't saying anything really at all. And then I got checked by the Holy Spirit. And it was like, I don't care. I gave you a purpose. You handle my business and let me handle the rest. You have a mission, and they're either going, you can't please everybody. They're going to
Yeah.
agree or they're not going to agree. And that's their choice. So what you do, Mattie Zarina Whitfield, is you do everything in love. At the end of the day, they'll never be able to say that you didn't love people, love the life. So I like to say, I live the life that you love and love the life that you design. My mission is to help love people back to life. Is everybody gonna like that? Absolutely not. But that's not my problem.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we are toward the end of our episode, but I want to give you a platform opportunity to share whatever you want to that person listening who needs that spiritual teaching that you are sharing. I want to give you that opportunity before we close out.
Absolutely. So I truly want to say thank you for this. We haven't had spiritual conversations before. We normally just talk about business and the economy. And that in itself is just confirmation as to what's going different in my life. If you had the privilege to be able to tune into this or to just see it on a replay or a clip, join Captivate University on Instagram. Follow me on social media. I am going to be helping, teaching, loving everyone that comes across my platform. And it's not just in a spiritual way, but it's going to be in a health way, how to take care of your health and how to take care of your wealth. Our world is changing, and it's not necessarily a scary thing when you're prepared. So my goal is to help people prepare, help people do something different. We already know it's coming, so there's no need to be fearful of it. You have to be prepared. So in that, live the life that you love the life that you design. It is yours. It is authentically you. You are unique. You are the person that you're supposed to be, not the person that they say you need to be. I look forward to seeing everybody run this journey with me. It's going to be enlightening. It's going to be fun. It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it.
It will be worth it. And it'll be going through and growing and becoming a better person. I've gotten so much, and I'm going to share it with my 19-year-old, my 21-year-old is hearing me in the background and so forth. So she heard a lot of this.
Hello,
and,
beautiful.
Yeah. And she's going to hear the replay also. I'm going to make sure about that. We thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody in the audience, remember we have our show, Different Lifestyles, Different Relationships. That's May 4th, May 18th. That'll be on Zoom and Facebook Live. We look forward to that. And we thank you very much, ma'am. I have to apologize. I'm just getting past a cold and it's been cropping up, and that's what's been happening. But I thank everybody. And what we're going to do, Mattie, we're going to, when we finish here, I'm going to look at Facebook Live and I'm going to make sure to check on any information, and I will send you that if you don't get a chance to see it yourself. And if you want to respond to it, you certainly can respond to it. We hope we got some people tuning in and listening. So we thank you very much, and we are about to close out. Any last word?
Love your life. Love your life. Love yourself.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we're out of here. Our 129th episode. I'm Baruti Carl Alexander. That's Mattie Zarina Whitfield. Thank you very much.